Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nadiah Team Muhammad NAZRI, and my mic number is 1223157. So our group is choose the article about the SULH as an instrument of alternative dispute resolution practiced in Syariah Court of Negeri Sembilan. And this article was written by the Suhaizat Saifuddin, Nurul Fadlina Cedawit, and Nurul Akmal Muhammad Hilmi. This article was published in November 2024 in the journal Undang-Undang dan Masyarakat. Study of the article presents that SULH is a preferred method for achieving amicable settlement between the dispute parties. And this article delves into a role of SULH serve as a vital Islamic approach to resolving disputes and its practical implementation in Malaysia's Syariah Court with a specific focus on the Syariah Court of Negeri Sembilan. In this article, they also examine the procedural framework of Majlis SULH in Negeri Sembilan, supported by the statistical data to support their findings. In addition, the study also identified the key challenges faced during the implementation of the SULH as an Islamic alternative dispute resolution method in Syariah Court of Negeri Sembilan. The author also suggests a suggestion that can be implemented in practice to improve the practicality of the SULH in future. The author also provides a comprehensive analysis of the SULH from both Islamic and also the contemporary legal perspective. So the study presents a SULH as a preferred method for achieving amicable settlement between the dispute parties. At the same time, it also emphasizes its element with the Islamic principles as well as the practical benefits, especially in terms of the cost, time efficiency, and others. In essence, this article contributes meaningfully to the discussion regarding the alternative dispute resolution by offering an insightful perspective on how Islamic principles can be effectively harmonized with the modern approach to dispute resolution, particularly in the context of the matrimonial issues.
My name is Nadiah QISTINA binti HAZMI, and my metric number is 122T052. Okay, for this slide I will explain about the SULH. The word SULH means reconciliation in Arabic, and it describes the peaceful resolution of dispute between the parties through mutual agreement. SULH can be applied directly or with the help of a mediator. SULH is also highly encouraged in Islam, as supported by verses from the Quran, Hadith of Prophet, and also scholarly consensus. It is viewed as an act of kindness that upholds justice, a safe relationship, and avoid the potential injustice that can arise in formal court trial. SULH encourages mutual respect, and it is more effective and suitable in certain cases, especially in cases that related with family and personal dispute. The earliest Islamic leaders, such as Umar al-Khattab, emphasized it is important in judicial process. It is provided that it does not go against Islamic law by legalizing the unlawful for forbidding the lawful. Let's move on for the second slide. Okay, this slide is about the application of SULH in the Syariah Court of Negeri Sembilan. It was started in the 2006, which is a part of an effort to improve judicial profession and efficiency. At first, it was conducted by Syariah judge. The process developed with the appointment of dedicated SULH officer, and in 2008, full implementation across district by 2010. SULH is conducted through the Majlis SULH, which is a structured mediation session, offers an alternative to formal trial truth, allowing mutual agreement between disputing parties. SULH also was supported by legal profession and procedural guidelines. The Majlis SULH covers various family-related such as maintenance, custody, and consultation claims. The sessions during SULH are private, not adversarial, and promote future goals rather than blame the parties. To improve the service of SULH, a centralized SULH unit was set up in the Syariah Court complex in Bandar Seri Sendaya in 2013. It's to guarantee a consistent and better implementation of SULH across the country. efforts and being made to standardize practice all over country in collaboration with the Syariah Judiciary Department of Malaysia, which is JKSM. Now let's move on to the SULH process. Pre-Majlis SULH, Session Majlis SULH, and Post-Majlis SULH are three main stages of a structured process that the Syariah Court of Negeri Sembilan use when carrying out SULH. First, in the Pre-Majlis SULH, the case is registered at the court. The registrar considers jurisdiction when determining whether the case should go through SULH or not. If acceptable, the case is assigned to a SULH officer, and a session is scheduled within 21 days, and a notice is issued to all parties involved. Then, during session Majlis SULH, the SULH session is conducted privately without any lawyer. Party present their issue and discuss the possible solution with guidance from the SULH officer. If needed, which is private caucus, sessions are held at each party. If a mutual agreement is reached, a settlement agreement is signed and submitted to the judge for endorsement as a court order. The case is sent for trial if no agreement can be reached. The session may be postponed if one of the parties fail to appear. Lastly, in post-Majlis SULH, if the case is successful, the court order is issued and enforced. If unsuccessful, the case proceeds to trial in the appropriate Syariah court. Now let us look at the table here. The Majlis SULH in the Syariah Court of Negeri Sembilan has shown that high succeed between 2017 and 2021 with over 50% of cases resolved each year. Success rating from 60% until 70%, including absent cases. This success had a reduced case delay, save time and legal costs, and easy on the burden on the judge.
Despite its effectiveness, the author highlights several challenges faced by their interviewees regarding the implementation of Majlis SULH in all three stages, which is the first one is pre-Majlis SULH stage, session Majlis SULH stage, and the last stage is post-Majlis SULH. In pre-Majlis SULH, there are faced challenges such as incomplete defendant information, difficulties in serving SULH notice, especially for the defendants outside the state jurisdiction, so it tends to prolong the resolution timeline. So the authors examine the appropriate solution to enhance the effectiveness of SULH implementation in the Negeri Sembilan Syariah Court, such as introduce a digital system for notice delivery and collaborating with the government agencies to verify defendant information. While during the SULH session, there is faced a lot of challenges such as non-attendance of parties that can disrupt scheduled mediation sessions, and also incooperative attitude such as refusal to negotiate, aggressive behavior. This can hinder productive of the discussion. The other problem is time constraint that can limit the effectiveness of the caucus. So the authors recommend improving officers' negotiation skill to optimize time management. Other than that, implementing security measures, including a dedicated assistant, are also suggested by the authors to handle a disruptive behavior from the involved parties. And lastly, for the post-Majlis SULH stage, there's an issue that parties may withdraw consent or refuse to sign settlement agreement. In other cases, the parties are non-compliant with the court endorsement settlement, and there is also a party that are absent during a final endorsement before a judge. So the study also advocates for the legally binding settlement agreement with the effective enforcement mechanism, including the online endorsement option, especially for the absent parties, and imposing a penalties in terms of the contempt of the court for non-compliance parties. These comprehensive solutions aim to streamline the goals of the SULH implementation by avoiding time constraint associated with a prolonged litigation and increase the resolution. At the same time, it can help to reduce a court cases backlogs.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ADNIN SYUHADA binti KAMARUZAMAN and my number matric is 1223054. Continue with an overview of the key challenges that face in the implementations of the SULH process within the Sharia court system. So, the first set of challenges arises before the SULH sessions even begins. A common issue is the lack of complete and accurate information about the parties involved, particularly the defendant's address or contact number. This is especially problematic in case following divorce where the parties are no longer in communication. Many plaintiffs assume the court will locate the defendant, which causes delay in the serving SULH notice and scheduling the session. Moreover, SULH notice do not carry the same legal force as a court summons. If a party fails to attend, no firm action can be taken, which is leaving the responsibility to the SULH officer to follow up manually, often across state jurisdictions. So this is not only delay the process but also increases administrative burden. The second set of challenges occur during the SULH session itself. Participation in SULH is voluntary, so there are no legal consequences if one party chooses not to attend. Even when both parties are present, they may be uncooperative, which is refusing to speak, showing negative attitudes, or behaving aggressively. In such situations, SULH officers often resort to caucus or private session with each party to facilitate communication. While this method can be effective, it is time-consuming. Furthermore, aggressive behavior from parties may threaten the safety of SULH officer, especially when staffing is limited and many officers are from women. The third challenge appears after the session, which is during the post-SULH stage. Problems often arise when one party withdraws from the agreements before it is ratified by a judge. In some cases, agreements are signed, but one party fails to attend the court for confirmation. Without judicial ratification, the agreement holds no legal effect and the matter must return to the trial, which is undermining the entire purpose of SULH as an alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Finally, even after the agreement is ratified, non-compliance remains a serious issue. For instance, a husband who agreed to pay maintenance may later fail to do so. This forces the other party to initiate enforcement proceedings, again dragging the case back into court and defeating the original intent of settling the matter amicably and efficiently. In conclusion, while SULH officers offers a valuable platform for peaceful conflict resolution, it is clear that there are systematic and procedural challenges at every stage, which is before, during, and after the session. These challenges highlight the need for stronger legal frameworks, better interagency coordinations, and more awareness among parties involved.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is ITMI'NAN. My metric number is 1223162. So today I will explain to you guys about an analysis which is the comparison between SULH and litigation in the Sharia court context. Okay, as you can see from the table, it's actually already give us a clear comparison between the SULH and litigation process in the Sharia courts. Let's see the advantages of SULH. First one, it is faster and more affordable. In fact, in the article, it already said from 2017 until 2021, SULH already achieved a success rate of 65% to 75%, which helped prevent many cases from going to the full court hearings. And unlike litigation, which can be adversarial and lawyer-driven, SULH is non-confrontational and usually conducted without lawyers, which means also reducing costs and emotional stress. And also, privacy is another strength of SULH, which is SULH sessions are confidential, unlike litigation, which involve public court hearings. And the outcome in SULH, agreements are mutually reached and endorsed by a judge, not imposed. Although in the article it doesn't directly compare SULH to the litigation, but it strongly supports SULH as a more realistic and effective way to settle the family disputes. In certain situations, SULH should be prioritized over litigation for its speed, affordability, and empathy in handling sensitive cases. Thank you. That's all from me.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FAIZATUL binti KHAIROL. My matrix number 1223058. Okay, now I will present the insights from the article we review. First, the article show that SULH has a high success rate between 65% to 75% from 2017 until 2021. This means SULH has strong potential to solve family disputes in the Sharia court. However, the article explained that the real success of SULH depends on how well it's done. It must be consistent and professional. Second, the SULH officer plays a very important role. It is not enough for them to know the law. They also need emotionally intelligence, good communication skill, and the ability to persuade both parties calmly. But there are still some problems. For example, the SULH notice is not legally binding. That means people can choose not come to suddenly pull out, and there is no legal action that can force them. Next, also the SULH system is not strong enough yet. There are delay in sending notice, especially between states. There is no real-time digital system, and sometimes officers are not fully protected, especially if a session gets tense. The article suggests some improvements like giving SULH officer access to JPN or KWSP to find information about the other party. Next, using my SMS reminders and online approval system, and adding a claim summary in the SULH notice so both sides understand what the case is about. Lastly, the article reminds us that SULH reflects Islamic values. It focuses on peace and compassion, not fighting in court. That's why SULH has a great potential as best way to settle family dispute under Sharia law. That's all for the insight section. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FARAHANIM binti Muhammad BAKRI. My matric number is 1223056. So right now I will conclude the article review. In conclusion, the article clearly shows that SULH has proven to be an effective and relevant mechanism for resolving disputes in the Sharia Court of Negeri Sembilan. From 2017 to 2021, more than half of the cases registered each year were successfully resolved through SULH. This proved that SULH have saved time and cost, while also encouraging peaceful and voluntary settlements, especially in family matters. However, the article also identifies several challenges that affect its smooth implementation. These include incomplete or outdated information from parties, absenteeism, uncooperative behavior during sessions, sudden withdrawals from agreements, and even interference from legal representative after sessions have ended. To address the issue, the article recommends several practical steps. For example, improving the notification system through SMS or online platforms, training SULH officers in communication and negotiation skills, and allowing online endorsement of agreements. Other suggestions include giving brief claim summaries to respondents before sessions and improving coordination among SULH officers, especially during caucus session. Overall, SULH reflects the core values of Islamic justice, reconciliation and harmony. With continuous reform, strong institutional support, and greater public awareness, SULH has the potential to become a national benchmark for Islamic-based ADR in Malaysia.